Harper Bennett's life changed forever the night she shared one reckless moment with billionaire Damian Pierce, a night filled with secrets powerful enough to rewrite destiny itself. From hidden identities and family betrayal to dangerous threats lurking in the shadows, Harper's journey is a gripping tale of resilience, forgiveness, and passionate love. Can Harper reclaim the truth stolen from her and heal the wounds of the past, or will buried secrets destroy everything she cherishes? Tell me, where are you watching from? Hit subscribe now to uncover Harper's thrilling story of courage and romance. Trust me, you won't want to miss a moment. Harper Bennett leaned back against the plush sofa in her small Seattle apartment, closing her eyes and breathing deeply, desperate to escape the weight pressing down on her. The studio had been packed all week. Good news financially, but emotionally exhausting. Her muscles ached, her email inbox overflowed, and to make matters worse, she'd just received an unexpected text from her ex, stirring up feelings she'd fought so hard to bury. She sighed, contemplating an early bedtime when her phone lit up with a familiar name, Ava Callahan. Reluctantly, Harper answered, knowing Ava wouldn't give up easily. Her best friend's voice, bright and bubbling, instantly filled her ear, pushing aside her gloom. Ava had somehow secured tickets to a high-end charity gala downtown. Glamorous, filled with music, champagne, and Seattle's elite crowd, Harper groaned softly, envisioning herself curled up in sweatpants rather than stuffed into a formal gown, pretending to mingle. But Ava, eternally persuasive, launched into an enthusiastic speech about the necessity of shaking off stress and living a little. 10 relentless minutes later, Harper surrendered with a weary laugh. "Fine," she conceded. "One night won't kill me." Harper's apprehension grew as they arrived at the glittering hotel, its towering glass walls reflecting Seattle's sparkling skyline. Ava had insisted Harper borrow one of her designer gowns, a sleek, midnight blue dress that hugged every curve, paired with dangerously high heels that made her question each step. Feeling distinctly out of place, Harper tugged at her hem, anxiety bubbling beneath her forced smile as Ava confidently led them into the lavish ballroom, a sea of elegance and opulence and opulence. Inside, the air hummed with the murmur of affluent guests, glasses clinking gently in polite toasts, laughter floating above the soft melodies of a jazz band. Harper quickly grabbed a flute of champagne, hoping it might ease the tension knotting her shoulders, while Ava disappeared into the mingling crowd, promising to return shortly. Taking a cautious sip, Harper scanned the room, her eyes eventually settling on a man standing slightly apart near the dance floor. He was strikingly tall, with broad shoulders impeccably defined by his tailored suit. His thick dark hair was slightly tousled, and a simple black mask covered half his face, enhancing the intriguing air surrounding him. There was an effortless grace to his movements, a quiet confidence that drew her attention like a magnet. Before Harper realized she was staring, the stranger turned, catching her gaze. A faint smile appeared, curving his lips as he began walking directly toward her. Harper's pulse quickened, and she nervously took another sip of champagne, her cheeks warming under his steady approach. "Care for a dance?" he asked, his voice deep and inviting, resonating gently beneath the ballroom's subtle rhythm. He offered no name, only a genuine smile that melted her reservations. Against her better judgment, she found herself nodding. He gently took her hand, guiding her onto the dance floor, where soft lights cascaded around them like an intimate embrace. They moved fluidly, perfectly matched, their conversation effortlessly weaving between casual humor and quiet revelations. He teased her playfully about her hesitant steps, and she laughed freely for the first time in weeks, her worries fading beneath his charismatic charm. As the evening progressed, the champagne flowed generously, loosening their inhibitions. Soon, laughter gave way to whispered conversations, leaning closer, lips grazing ears, sparks igniting a sense of reckless abandon neither had anticipated. Lost in each other's presence, they found themselves drifting toward the hotel elevator, their hands intertwined, pulses racing in silent agreement. Moments later, they were alone in an elegant suite, masks and jackets carelessly abandoned, the city lights shimmering through large windows. Harper's heart thundered wildly as she gazed up into eyes now unveiled. Deep green, mesmerizing, utterly intoxicating. She never asked for his name, and he never offered it. Their anonymity created a thrilling sense of freedom neither wanted to break. Clothes fell away, the barriers between them dissolving with each electrifying touch. Time blurred, fading into a whirlwind of passion and intimacy. A dreamlike moment suspended between reality and fantasy. Hours later, tangled in sheets and each other's embrace, Harper drifted into sleep, her worries long forgotten, replaced by the comforting warmth of his arms around her. Morning arrived swiftly, sunlight piercing through curtains to jolt Harper awake. Panic surged as she discovered herself alone, the bed beside her cold and empty. As embarrassment and regret began to creep in, her eyes caught sight of something glinting on the nightstand, a delicate silver necklace engraved with intricate patterns. Beside it, a brief note read simply, "Thanks for the dance." She held the necklace tenderly, half amused, half bewildered, unaware that this tiny keepsake would soon unravel secrets she never dreamed existed. Secrets powerful enough to alter her life forever. 5 years passed quietly, each turning Harper Bennett's impromptu gala adventure into little more than an amusing memory. Life, as it tends to do, quickly reasserted itself, burying that reckless night beneath daily routines, yoga mats, and steaming cups of chai tea. Harper's studio in Seattle flourished beautifully, her days a bustling blur of classes, workshops, and emails. The exhaustion still lingered occasionally, but the warmth of success had settled comfortably into her life, providing an anchor she hadn't known she'd needed. She'd kept the silver necklace from the mysterious stranger, tucked away in a velvet-lined drawer, almost forgotten amid everyday chaos. Occasionally, on rare quiet evenings, she'd run her fingers along the delicate engravings, smiling gently at the fleeting memory it invoked. Yet, for the most part, the trinket remained safely hidden, until a call from her best friend, Ava, brought everything roaring back to life. "Harper." Ava's voice crackled with enthusiasm over the phone, cutting straight through the noise of Harper's busy morning. "I've just landed an incredible corporate wellness gig. You have to come with me to Pierce Techcore. They specifically asked for yoga sessions. Paid hotel stay, fancy dinners. The works." Harper hesitated, picturing herself awkwardly demonstrating poses to board executives in polished suits. Ava, however, would not relent, spinning visions of luxury hotel spas, gourmet coffee, and networking opportunities Harper couldn't possibly ignore. Reluctantly, Harper agreed, packing her yoga mats and joining Ava on the short drive to the towering glass and steel fortress of Pierce Techcore. Upon arriving, Harper immediately felt out of place, acutely aware of her leggings and tousled bun amid sleek, corporate elegance. Ava, vibrant and undaunted, led her confidently into a bright, spacious conference room filled with well-dressed employees quietly chatting, their expressions betraying mild skepticism at the idea of mandatory mindfulness. Harper steadied herself with a deep breath, beginning to guide them gently into poses, her voice soft yet authoritative, soon easing their hesitant bodies into fluid stretches. Midway through the session, the door opened abruptly, drawing every gaze to the tall figure who stepped casually inside. Harper glanced up, her breath catching instantly in her chest. She recognized him immediately, despite the crisp tailored suit, perfectly combed hair, and 5 years of separation. Damian Pierce, CEO of Pierce Techcore, stood before her, just as magnetic as she remembered. For a heartbeat, their eyes locked, uncertainty flickering across his handsome features. Harper's pulse quickened as she forced herself to continue, voice wavering slightly, Damien's gaze traveled subtly, stopping briefly at the silver necklace now gleaming around her neck. He paused, expression shifting into thoughtful curiosity, before quietly settling into a chair at the back, observing her intently through the rest of the session. Afterward, as participants dispersed with appreciative murmurs, Damien lingered behind, approaching Harper with the ease of someone used to commanding attention. He smiled warmly, extending a hand. "Damien Pierce," he introduced, voice rich and familiar, making her stomach flip. "Harper Bennett," she replied softly, heart racing, wondering if he remembered her at all. His eyes narrowed slightly in contemplation, and she felt exposed, vulnerable beneath his penetrating gaze. "That's an interesting necklace," he remarked gently, eyes never leaving the engraved silver pendant resting lightly against her collarbone. "Where'd you get it?" "Oh," she faltered, nerves prickling sharply beneath her skin. "Just a gift from someone I met once. Years ago." He tilted his head slightly, curiosity sharpening. "Funny," he murmured, leaning closer. "It looks exactly like an heirloom I've seen in old family photographs. Something connected to my company's past." A hint of a smile tugged at his lips, teasing yet serious. "Fascinating coincidence, isn't it?" Before Harper could respond, Ava appeared cheerfully, her bright laughter shattering the tension. "I see you've met the boss," she teased, nudging Harper playfully. Damien chuckled politely, smoothly shifting the conversation into comfortable small talk about yoga and wellness. Yet, beneath the casual exchanges, Harper felt an electric undercurrent, an inexplicable pull drawing her back toward him. Damien seemed equally affected, eyes repeatedly drifting toward her necklace, brows knitted slightly, as though wrestling with an elusive memory. His invitation to stay longer, disguised casually as consulting for future wellness projects, surprised her, but Ava's enthusiastic nod and whispered encouragement sealed Harper's reluctant acceptance. That night, alone in her luxurious hotel suite, Harper traced the intricate patterns of the necklace thoughtfully, her mind swirling with unanswered questions. The necklace was no longer merely a quirky reminder of a forgotten night. It had become something far more intriguing and unsettling. She had no idea that this delicate keepsake was quietly binding her to Damien once again, pulling her deeper into mysteries far darker and richer than she ever imagined possible. Harper couldn't shake the feeling that her arrival at Pierce Tech Corps had unraveled something deeper than just an old memory. Her initial hesitation to extend her stay in Seattle quickly evaporated beneath Damien's persuasive charm and Ava's relentless excitement. Damien was effortlessly compelling, confident yet warm, commanding yet approachable, and each conversation seemed to draw Harper further into his captivating orbit. In the days following their initial reunion, Damien insisted Harper's expertise was crucial in designing a wellness program tailored specifically for his overworked executives. Skeptical at first, Harper gradually found herself intrigued, feeling a genuine sense of purpose as Damien enthusiastically shared his vision over countless cups of coffee and late-night strategy sessions. It wasn't long before their interactions began drifting beyond professional boundaries. One evening, after wrapping up discussions in his lavish corner office, Damien invited Harper to a rooftop restaurant with sweeping views of Elliott Bay, the city lights shimmering against the water. Harper stumbled slightly as she stepped out of the elevator, her heels catching unexpectedly on the sleek marble floor, but Damien's hand reached out instinctively, catching her gently by the elbow. "Careful," he murmured softly, eyes twinkling with amusement, warmth lingering in his touch as he steadied her. Harper flushed, laughing quietly to mask her embarrassment, feeling an electric charge ripple through her from the brief contact. Dinner unfolded seamlessly, the air between them growing steadily warmer as conversation flowed effortlessly. Damien spoke openly, dropping the guarded facade she'd seen him carry around the office. He described building Pierce Tech from scratch, revealing a vulnerable, determined side Harper hadn't expected from a corporate billionaire. She listened intently, hanging on to every word, fascinated by his quiet passion and the intensity hidden beneath his polished exterior. As the evening wore on, Harper's defenses softened, her laughter mingling easily with Damien's rich, infectious chuckle. Yet, every time his gaze lingered on the silver necklace at her throat, a faint shadow flickered across his expression. She could sense questions bubbling beneath his charming demeanor, questions he seemed hesitant to voice aloud. Harper, too, wondered when, or if, he would finally remember the gala night that had subtly bound them together years ago. Meanwhile, unknown to both, trouble stirred quietly beneath the surface. Lydia Pierce, Damien's calculating aunt, had quickly become suspicious of Harper's presence. Having watched carefully from the sidelines, Lydia immediately recognized the necklace as a threat, a dangerous symbol of secrets she had meticulously buried long ago. Her anxiety intensified each time Damien's eyes drifted toward Harper, with unmistakable affection. Determined not to lose control, Lydia summoned Nathan, Damien's ambitious cousin, into her shadowy schemes. "We have a serious problem," Lydia warned sharply, pacing restlessly across her lavish office late one night. Nathan lounged indifferently, sipping whiskey and eyeing her skeptically. She pointed impatiently toward a photograph on her desk, a faded, decades-old image showing a baby wearing the same necklace Harper now possessed. "She's the Bennett girl we lost track of. If Damien finds out, she could dismantle everything we've built." Nathan's casual expression shifted, his eyes narrowing thoughtfully. "So, what's your move?" Lydia paused, icy determination crystallizing her voice. "We find a way to push her out quietly before Damien grows too attached. Start subtle. Dig into her past, frighten her, and remind her she doesn't belong here." Back at her hotel suite, Harper struggled with restless dreams, fragments of blurred memories she couldn't fully grasp. Every night, she woke unsettled, breathing hard, fingers instinctively clutching the necklace. Desperate for answers, Harper confided in Ava, who waved it off gently, attributing the dreams to stress and exhaustion. But the dreams persisted, increasingly vivid and unsettling. Unable to shake her unease, Harper finally decided to seek guidance from a local psychic Ava once mentioned. A woman named Elena Hart, reputedly gifted with uncanny insight. The next afternoon, Harper entered Elena's quaint, candlelit shop tucked away on a quiet Seattle street. The moment Elena's eyes fell upon the silver necklace, she gasped sharply, her face turning pale. "Where did you get that?" Elena demanded urgently, grasping Harper's wrist tightly. Harper hesitated, startled by the psychic's intense reaction. "It was a gift," Harper murmured uncertainly. Elena shook her head vigorously, tracing the delicate engravings with trembling fingers. "This isn't an ordinary necklace," Elena whispered, eyes wide and serious. "It's an heirloom from the Bennett family. You carry their blood. You are their lost daughter." Harper's heart thundered in her chest, Elena's words slicing sharply through her disbelief. The psychic's unwavering stare confirmed her deepest fears, shattering the comfort of ignorance she'd clung to. The necklace wasn't merely a forgotten trinket. It was a key unlocking secrets powerful enough to rewrite her entire existence. Harper left Elena Hart's shop, feeling shaken to her core, her mind spinning wildly with the psychic's unsettling revelation. The bustling streets of Seattle blurred around her, pedestrians and traffic becoming mere shadows, as Elena's words echoed repeatedly through her head. "You carry their blood. You're their lost daughter." It sounded absurd, impossible even. Yet the dreams, the necklace, Damien's strange reaction, all of it seemed eerily connected. Threads weaving together into something Harper feared she wasn't prepared to face. Meanwhile, hidden behind the polished walls of Pierce Tech, Lydia Pierce moved swiftly to protect her carefully guarded secrets. Realizing Harper posed an immediate threat, Lydia hired a private investigator to dig deeply into Harper's past, determined to exploit any vulnerability she found. She paced anxiously in her plush, dimly lit office, flipping through Harper's hastily obtained file, her heart racing as her eyes landed upon adoption papers. Unsigned, suspiciously vague, unmistakably familiar. "I never thought this would come back," Lydia murmured bitterly, anger and fear coiling tightly within her chest. She vividly remembered the night decades ago when she orchestrated the downfall of Bennett Industries, ensuring its demise by removing their only heir. An infant daughter, lost to obscurity, her carefully constructed world teetered dangerously, threatened by Harper Bennett's sudden reappearance. Determined not to lose everything she'd schemed tirelessly to build, Lydia summoned Nathan again, handing him the incriminating documents. Nathan smirked slightly, eyes glinting with mild amusement. "So we frighten her off?" he asked casually, thumbing through Harper's file, seeming bored by Lydia's desperation. "No," Lydia snapped coldly. "We destroy her confidence first, plant seeds of doubt. Damien trusts her too much already. She needs to understand her place. Far away from here." Nathan nodded slowly, accepting the task with calculated indifference. Lydia turned away, gazing out the towering glass windows overlooking Seattle's glittering skyline, her fists clenched tightly at her sides. She would protect her empire at any cost, no matter the price Harper Bennett might have to pay. Across town, Harper returned to Pierce Tech, her anxiety steadily intensifying. Damien greeted her warmly, oblivious to the storm brewing beneath his aunt's careful facade. Despite her internal turmoil, Harper found herself leaning into Damien's reassuring presence, clinging desperately to the comfort he unknowingly provided. Yet even Damien's gentle strength couldn't shield Harper from the subtle threats Lydia had arranged. Anonymous emails arrived, cryptic messages warning her to leave before it's too late. Photographs snapped secretly, capturing her every move. Each message left her increasingly anxious, unable to escape the sensation of invisible eyes constantly watching her. Damien, noticing Harper's growing distress, pressed her gently for answers evening after work, their voices soft beneath the quiet glow of his office lamps. Harper hesitated briefly, fear tightening in her throat, before finally confessing everything. Elena's startling revelations, the dreams haunting her nights, and the threats that left her feeling trapped and exposed. Damien's expression darkened instantly, anger and protective instinct flashing across his handsome features. "This stops now," he vowed fiercely, gripping Harper's trembling hands reassuringly. "Whoever is behind this, I won't let them hurt you." As he spoke, Damien's eyes landed again on the silver necklace, realizations slowly dawning. "Harper," he said carefully, voice lowering, almost reverent. "The Bennett family, my family, were rivals decades ago. Pierce Tech absorbed Bennett Industries after a controversial takeover led by my Aunt Lydia. Your necklace. It's the Bennett family heirloom. I've seen it before." Harper felt her heart sink and flutter simultaneously, dread mingling with relief. Damien's acknowledgement meant the puzzle pieces were finally aligning, yet his revelation opened new wounds, depth scars carved by family betrayal. They both sat quietly for a moment, absorbing the gravity of their intertwined histories, uncertainty hanging thickly between them. "I won't let you face this alone," Damien whispered earnestly, breaking the heavy silence. "We'll uncover the truth together, no matter what it takes." Across the building, Lydia watched carefully from the shadows, her pulse quickening in panic as she witnessed Damien comforting Harper. Fury simmered beneath her controlled exterior, frustration boiling into quiet rage. Her nephew's growing attachment to the woman threatening their legacy forced Lydia into drastic action. That evening, after Damien and Harper parted reluctantly, Lydia cornered Harper near the lobby elevators. eyes glittering dangerously. Her smile was cold, predatory, as she leaned in close, whispering harshly, "You think you belong here, Harper? You're nothing but a ghost from a past best left buried. Leave Damien and Pierce Tech before it's too late." Harper recoiled slightly, heart racing, her courage faltering beneath Lydia's piercing gaze. But as Lydia stepped away triumphantly, a wave of stubborn determination surged within Harper, pushing aside fear. She'd spent her life searching for a place she truly belonged, unaware she'd been fighting battles long decided by others. Now, with Damien beside her, she finally understood. She wouldn't be silenced, wouldn't run. Harper Bennett was done hiding. It was time to confront the darkness head on. The tension that followed Lydia's chilling confrontation left Harper restless, her nights consumed by troubled dreams filled with shadowy figures and whispered warnings. Each morning she woke unsettled, her heart pounding wildly, memories frayed at the edges by anxiety. Damien stood by her side, protective yet increasingly wary, knowing that something darker lurked behind Lydia's icy threats. His warmth provided comfort, but Harper knew that simply waiting for answers wasn't enough. She needed clarity, a tangible thread to unravel the truth of her past. Harper began quietly piecing together fragments of her memories, each dream offering subtle hints, glimpses of an unfamiliar life she might once have known. Yet nothing concrete emerged, leaving her frustrated and increasingly desperate. Damien, noticing her growing distress, urged her gently to return to Elena Hart, the psychic who had first illuminated her tangled heritage. Reluctantly, Harper agreed, hoping Elena might finally offer clarity rather than riddles. When Harper stepped into Elena's dimly lit parlor again, the psychic's keen eyes held a knowing sadness. Elena motioned Harper closer, her voice gentle but unwavering. "You're ready now," she said softly, guiding Harper to a small table, lined with flickering candles and ancient tarot cards. Harper hesitated briefly, her pulse quickening as Elena spread cards across the velvet surface. With careful fingers, Elena traced their edges, pausing briefly, as if absorbing unseen energy. Finally, she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "Your past is awakening, Harper. Bennett blood runs deep, and your dreams aren't random. Their memories locked away, trying desperately to resurface." Harper's breath caught sharply, her fingers unconsciously tightening around the silver necklace resting at her throat. "What memories?" she asked quietly, almost afraid to hear the answer. Elena leaned closer, eyes intense, filled with compassion. "The night you were taken, your family's legacy destroyed. You're seeing your home, hearing your mother's voice. These aren't just dreams, they're truths long hidden." Harper's eyes widened, a sudden image flashing vividly. An expansive room, laughter echoing faintly, warmth she'd never consciously known. Elena watched her carefully, nodding gently in confirmation. "Your necklace was always meant for you, Harper. It holds not just your identity, but also your family's history. It's the key to reclaiming who you truly are." As Harper absorbed Elena's words, her emotions twisted into a complicated knot of grief and hope. Before she could speak, Elena continued solemnly, her expression darkening slightly. "But be warned, what you seek carries great danger. Lydia Pierce knows the necklace's true power. She fears you because you hold the ability to undo everything she's built." Harper exhaled shakily, feeling overwhelmed yet strangely resolved. She understood now the weight of responsibility resting on her shoulders, not merely to reclaim her identity, but to face the shadows haunting her since childhood. Elena squeezed Harper's hand gently, offering quiet reassurance. "Trust your instincts and Damien's heart. Together, you will find strength in each other." Harper left Elena's shop with newfound clarity and determination pulsing through her veins. Returning to Damien, she recounted Elena's revelations, feeling a rush of gratitude when he met her eyes unflinchingly, promising again to face the unknown by her side. They spent long nights delving into Pierce Tech's history, uncovering subtle clues buried beneath layers of corporate intrigue. Obscured photographs, cryptic financial records, and coded memos hinting at Lydia's betrayal and the deliberate destruction of Bennett Industries. As their investigation deepened, Lydia's threats intensified. Harper received increasingly ominous warnings, cryptic messages delivered anonymously to her hotel room, accompanied by surveillance photos clearly meant to frighten her. But rather than intimidating her into submission, each threat only sharpened Harper's resolve, fueling her courage and determination. Damien, fiercely protective yet thoughtful, began openly defying Lydia's attempts to isolate Harper, publicly defending her presence within Pierce Tech. His unwavering support emboldened Harper, allowing her confidence to blossom even amid chaos. Each time Lydia publicly challenged Harper's credibility, Damien's steadfast defense resonated strongly, gradually shifting the company's perception toward acceptance. Their growing bond deepened further one quiet evening when Harper confided to Damien the full depth of her fears and hopes, her voice trembling slightly beneath the weight of vulnerability. Damien gently brushed tears from her cheek, his voice firm yet tender as he whispered, "No matter what happens, Harper, we'll face it together. Lydia won't dictate your story any longer." Harper looked into his eyes, recognizing a profound sincerity she'd rarely experienced. She trusted him implicitly, feeling their lives intertwining ever tighter, woven together by shared secrets, mutual trust, and undeniable attraction. In that quiet moment, Harper finally allowed herself to believe not just in the truth of her identity, but in the possibility of genuine happiness with Damien. Yet despite their growing closeness, Harper knew their battle was far from over. Lydia's desperate attempts to silence Harper hinted at a hidden truth powerful enough to threaten everything. Whatever awaited them next, Harper was ready. With Damien by her side, she was no longer simply the lost Bennett heir. She was a woman reclaiming control, determined to face the shadows of the past head on, no matter the cost. Despite the courage Harper had found, Lydia's threats grew increasingly sinister, evolving from vague warnings into something far more tangible and frighteningly real. One stormy evening, Harper returned alone to her hotel room, exhausted from a day spent researching alongside Damien. She pushed open the heavy door, suddenly sensing something off. The room felt colder, darker, somehow unfamiliar. Unease prickled her skin as she cautiously stepped inside, flicking on the lights and freezing in her tracks. The suite had been thoroughly ransacked. Papers lay scattered across the floor, dresser drawers yanked open, their contents spilled haphazardly onto the carpet. Harper's heart thundered wildly in her chest as her eyes landed on a message scrawled hastily across the mirror in lipstick, bright and chillingly red. Odd Seattle, or else Seattle. Or else. Fear surged hot and immediate, stealing her breath. Yet Harper refused to surrender entirely to panic. She quickly dialed Damien's number, her voice trembling slightly as she described the chaos around her. "Stay there," Damien commanded urgently, his voice edged with protective intensity. "I'm coming." Minutes later, Damien burst through the door, face etched with concern, scanning the room carefully before drawing Harper protectively into his embrace. The strength of his arms calmed her racing pulse, restoring her sense of safety, even amid the destruction. Gently, he cupped her face, eyes fierce with determination. "This has gone too far. You're staying with me from now on. I won't risk losing you." Harper nodded silently, overwhelmed yet grateful for his unwavering strength. Within the hour, they arrived at Damien's expansive penthouse apartment, overlooking Seattle's glittering skyline. The sleek elegance of his home provided immediate comfort. its spaciousness starkly contrasting with the chaos she'd just escaped. Over the next several days, Damien became Harper's fierce protector, arranging private security measures and closely monitoring her safety. Lydia's bold move had inadvertently brought them even closer, forcing Damien to finally confront the possibility that his own family might be behind the escalating threats. He began discreetly investigating Lydia's recent activities, quietly digging into financial records, phone logs, and private correspondence. Late one evening, as rain tapped insistently against wide panoramic windows, Damien discovered a troubling document hidden deep within PureTech's internal archives. A memo revealing Lydia's explicit instructions to a private security contractor authorizing surveillance and intimidation tactics against Harper. Damien's blood turned cold, disbelief swiftly replaced by anger, as the depth of Lydia's betrayal fully crystallized. Unable to conceal his fury, Damien confronted Lydia early the next morning, storming into her plush office without knocking. Lydia looked startled briefly before masking her surprise with cold disdain. "What is the meaning of this, Damien?" she demanded sharply, eyeing him warily. "You know exactly why I'm here," Damien growled, his voice dangerously low, tossing the printed memo onto her polished desk. "Explain yourself." Lydia barely glanced at the document, her expression chillingly detached. "I did what was necessary," she replied icily. "That woman is dangerous. She threatens everything we've built. You're blinded by your emotions, Damien." His voice rose slightly, frustration and pain evident. "You kidnapped her as a child. You destroyed her family's legacy. Harper deserves justice, not threats and fear. You're finished, Lydia." She stood slowly, defiant, meeting his gaze with unrepentant anger. "Think carefully before you ruin your own life for her, Damien," Lydia warned quietly, eyes flashing dangerously. "Choose wisely. Family loyalty or some stranger's misguided quest." Without hesitation, Damien turned toward the door, pausing only briefly to deliver a final, decisive statement. "I choose Harper. Always." Later that night, Damien shared his findings with Harper, their conversation solemn beneath the soft glow of city lights filtering through expansive windows. Harper listened carefully, heart swelling with gratitude, yet aching at the profound betrayal Damien now faced from his own blood. Gently, she reached for his hand, intertwining their fingers tightly, silently offering her support. "You don't have to choose between your family and me," she whispered softly, searching his eyes tenderly. Damien shook his head firmly, voice steady and sure. "Harper, family isn't about blood. It's about loyalty, trust, love. You've shown me what true strength looks like. Lydia chose greed, deceit. I'll stand beside you, always." His heartfelt words resonated deeply, reinforcing the bond forged amid chaos and uncertainty. Harper leaned into him, feeling her resolve strengthen even as hidden dangers continued lurking nearby. Though Lydia's threats loomed, Harper knew she was no longer alone. With Damien fiercely protecting her, she finally felt capable of facing whatever storms lay ahead. But as the night wore on, and the city below sparkled innocently, Harper understood their greatest challenge still awaited: exposing Lydia's crimes publicly, reclaiming Harper's stolen legacy, and dismantling the dark truths still buried beneath PureTech's polished surface. Wrapped securely in Damien's embrace, Harper realized their shared journey had barely begun. They stood together on the brink, hearts intertwined, ready to confront the secrets and threats awaiting them. Together, they would reclaim her past and reshape their future, no matter how uncertain or dangerous it might become. As the day of the PureTech board meeting drew near, Harper felt a growing sense of unease tangled with determination. Damien had gathered undeniable proof of Lydia's crimes: bank statements detailing clandestine payments, surveillance photos, and private communications explicitly outlining her ruthless tactics. Each piece of evidence painted a chilling portrait of betrayal and manipulation. Yet, despite their careful preparations, the weight of confronting Lydia openly filled Harper with anxiety. On the morning of the meeting, Harper stood nervously before a mirror in Damien's penthouse, carefully smoothing her blouse, heart fluttering beneath her fingertips. Damien appeared behind her, gently placing comforting hands on her shoulders, his eyes meeting hers reassuringly in their reflection. "You're ready," he whispered softly, sensing her apprehension. Harper exhaled shakily, nodding slowly. Arriving at Pierce Tech's executive boardroom felt surreal. Damien held Harper's hand tightly, guiding her firmly through the maze of polished corridors until they reached the imposing conference room door. Inside, board members sat stiffly around an expansive mahogany table, their whispered conversations silencing abruptly as Harper entered with Damien by her side. Lydia sat at the far end, face composed yet tense, eyes narrowing dangerously upon seeing Harper. Margaret Pierce, Damien's grandmother and respected family matriarch, presided over the board, her commanding presence instantly filling the room. Her sharp gaze landed briefly on Harper, softened momentarily by an expression of quiet curiosity, before returning firmly to the gathered group. Damien wasted no time, stepping forward confidently, placing a heavy folder on the polished table with a resonant thud. "We're here to address a grievous betrayal," he began clearly, voice calm but filled with controlled intensity. "Lydia Pierce has committed serious crimes against Harper Bennett, crimes which directly implicate this company." An immediate silence descended, shock rippling visibly across the faces around the table. Lydia rose abruptly, scoffing loudly. "This is absurd," she snapped, voice trembling slightly. "You bring this woman here, accusing me of nonsense?" Ignoring Lydia's protests, Damien methodically opened the folder, laying out evidence piece by piece, financial transactions showing payments to private investigators and thugs, photographs documenting harassment against Harper, and finally, the adoption papers proving Harper's identity as the lost heir to Bennett Industries. The weight of evidence quickly overwhelmed Lydia's fragile defense. Harper stepped forward bravely, holding tightly onto the silver necklace around her throat. "I'm Harper Bennett," she declared clearly, voice steady despite her rapidly beating heart. "The last surviving heir of Bennett Industries, Lydia Pierce, orchestrated my kidnapping decades ago to steal my family's legacy and suppress our rivalry." Margaret Pierce leaned forward slowly, eyes glittering with shock, sorrow, and profound anger. Her voice resonated with icy authority as she turned to Lydia. "Explain yourself." Lydia faltered briefly, desperation flickering in her eyes before she summoned a fragile veneer of defiance. "Margaret, this is a ridiculous accusation. This girl—" "You destroyed her family," Damien interrupted coldly, voice unwavering. "And now you've threatened her life to keep your crimes hidden. Admit it." Lydia's gaze darted frantically around the room, desperately seeking allies, finding only judgment and betrayal staring back. Her shoulders slumped as panic overcame arrogance, her carefully constructed mask finally shattering. "I did what was necessary," she spat bitterly. "You think Pierce Tech would survive without my decisions. Bennett was a threat, a necessary sacrifice." Margaret stood abruptly, radiating authority. "You've disgraced this family, Lydia. Pierce Tech was built on integrity, not greed and betrayal." Turning decisively toward Harper, Margaret spoke gently, sincerity resonating clearly through her dignified voice. "Harper, you have suffered enough. It's time we righted the wrongs inflicted upon you. This company owes you justice." Harper's vision blurred slightly, overwhelmed by relief and vindication as Margaret faced the board members with unwavering confidence, all in favor of formally recognizing Harper Bennett's identity and restoring her rightful inheritance within our holdings. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Hands rose swiftly, overwhelmingly outnumbering Lydia's dwindling allies. Lydia's expression shifted to pure panic. Frantically pleading eyes turned toward Nathan, who looked away deliberately, offering no support. Margaret motioned calmly toward security waiting discreetly at the room's perimeter. "Escort Lydia from the premises immediately." Lydia shouted furiously, struggling against their firm grasp as she was led forcefully from the room, voice echoing desperately down the corridor. Harper watched quietly, heart aching at the ugliness revealed yet buoyed by Damien's reassuring presence beside her. As the chaos subsided, Margaret approached Harper warmly, extending a gentle hand. "Welcome home, my dear," she whispered affectionately, embracing Harper with sincere tenderness. Tears pricked Harper's eyes as relief flooded through her, her lifelong search for identity finally complete. Damien reached for Harper's hand, pulling her gently aside as Margaret exited quietly, offering privacy. His eyes glistened softly, filled with deep admiration. "You're incredible," he murmured tenderly, brushing her cheek gently. Harper smiled softly, exhaling slowly as tension melted away beneath his touch. "I finally know who I am," she whispered, gratitude shining in her eyes. Damien nodded knowingly, voice steady yet filled with unspoken emotion. "You've always known," he replied warmly. "You just needed the courage to reclaim it." Standing together amid the stillness of the boardroom, Harper finally embraced her true self, no longer a lost heir, but a woman who'd faced darkness head on and emerged stronger. Yet, as she leaned gratefully against Damien, she knew their journey wasn't finished. More truths awaited, each shadow holding secrets yet to be uncovered. In the wake of Lydia's dramatic fall from grace, Harper found herself grappling with an entirely new reality. Overnight, she had shifted from being a yoga instructor quietly navigating her life to the recognized heiress of Bennett Industries, publicly reclaiming her lost legacy. The media buzzed relentlessly, eager to chronicle the story of betrayal, rediscovery, and justice served within the corridors of Pierce Tech Corps. Damien stood steadfastly by her side throughout the whirlwind, his steady presence anchoring her amid the tumultuous aftermath. Yet beneath the triumph and relief, Harper battled lingering unease. Though Lydia had been removed, her shadow loomed large, a stark reminder of the painful deception that had shaped Harper's life. The once mighty executive now faced criminal charges: kidnapping, fraud, corporate sabotage. Her carefully constructed empire crumbling swiftly beneath the weight of undeniable evidence. Nathan, sensing inevitable defeat, quickly negotiated his own deal, testifying against Lydia for leniency and promptly vanishing from Pierce Tech's halls forever. While the courtroom drama unfolded, Harper threw herself into rebuilding Bennett Industries, reclaiming her family's tarnished legacy with fierce determination. Damien remained closely involved, offering unwavering support as she navigated unfamiliar territory, patiently guiding her through complex corporate restructuring and rebranding strategies. Late nights found them side by side, poring over documents, discussing new initiatives, and envisioning a brighter future forged from honesty and resilience rather than deception. Gradually, Harper grew more confident, her quiet strength blossoming beneath Margaret Pierce's unexpected mentorship. The respected family matriarch had embraced Harper warmly, gently easing her granddaughter-in-law into their world with kindness, wisdom, and open-hearted encouragement. Regular dinners at Margaret's sprawling estate became cherished rituals, intimate gatherings filled with laughter, shared stories, and genuine affection. Margaret often pulled Harper aside privately, eyes twinkling with gentle pride as she squeezed Harper's hand reassuringly, whispering encouragement. You're stronger than you realize. Trust yourself, Harper. Slowly, Harper began to truly believe Margaret's words, stepping confidently into boardrooms and press conferences, reclaiming her identity with poise and clarity. Yet, even amid growing stability, the necklace remained a constant, silent reminder of deeper mysteries still unresolved. Harper often found herself absent-mindedly tracing its delicate engravings, contemplating the unanswered questions Elena Hart had hinted at, secrets hidden away in a forgotten Bennett vault, holding unknown power beyond mere financial wealth. One evening, while Harper and Damien lingered together in his penthouse apartment after a long day, Damien gently brushed a stray lock of hair behind Harper's ear, studying her thoughtfully. He hesitated briefly before finally speaking, voice soft yet earnest. "Harper, there's something I've wanted to ask you for a long time now." Her heart quickened slightly beneath his serious gaze. She asked softly, curious anticipation fluttering gently in her chest. Damien took a steadying breath, gaze unwavering. "The night we met at the gala, 5 years ago. I didn't realize who you were at the time. But even then, something about you captivated me. I haven't been able to forget you since." He paused, gently holding her hands. "Harper, will you marry me? Not because of business or family legacies, but simply because I love you deeply, genuinely, and completely." Harper's eyes widened, breath catching sharply at his heartfelt proposal, her pulse racing joyfully. Overwhelmed by emotion, she found herself smiling broadly, laughter bubbling freely as tears of happiness pricked her eyes. "Yes," she whispered sincerely, voice trembling gently. "I'll marry you, Damien." Joy illuminated Damien's features instantly, his smile bright and genuine as he gently drew Harper into his embrace, sealing their promise with a tender, heartfelt kiss. Warmth spread swiftly between them, their bond strengthened further by shared trials and triumphs, culminating finally in mutual devotion openly expressed. Yet, even amid joyful celebration, Harper remained keenly aware of unfinished business lurking quietly in the shadows. That same night, as they sat curled comfortably together on the balcony beneath Seattle's moonlit sky, Harper's phone buzzed softly. Elena Hart's voice crackled through the speaker, serious and urgent. "You've reclaimed your identity, Harper, but there's still more to uncover," Elena warned quietly, her tone filled with gravity. "The Bennett vault isn't simply a hidden fortune. It holds something deeper, far more powerful than money alone. You are the key to unlocking it. Be careful, the journey isn't finished yet." The call ended abruptly, leaving Harper staring blankly at her phone, heart thudding nervously in her chest. Damien squeezed her hand reassuringly, silently promising continued strength and support. They shared a lingering look, wordlessly acknowledging their next challenge: unearthing Bennett's buried secrets and facing whatever awaited inside the vault. Sitting together beneath the quiet stars, Harper felt determined yet uncertain, comforted only by Damien's steady presence. She understood now that reclaiming her identity was merely the beginning. With Damien at her side, however, she finally trusted in her own strength to face whatever darkness and light lay hidden within the Bennett legacy. Together, they would uncover every secret, confront every threat, and ultimately forge a brighter, stronger future, bound not by secrets or deception, but by unbreakable trust and enduring love. The days following Damien's heartfelt proposal became a whirlwind of preparations, media, attention, and deepening bonds. Harper found herself navigating a new, expansive life as both the head of Bennett Industries and Damien's fiancée, stepping fully into roles she'd never imagined for herself. Together, they faced the challenges head-on, their connection deepening beneath the bright glare of public scrutiny, strengthened by mutual trust and enduring affection. Yet even amid wedding plans and business strategies, Elena Hart's cryptic message about the mysterious Bennett family vault haunted Harper's thoughts. What could possibly lie hidden beneath decades of silence? The possibility of further secrets, potentially powerful enough to alter their lives once more, left her restless, a quiet tension simmering beneath the surface. Determined to uncover the truth, Harper and Damien began discreetly researching historical records, consulting old archives, and piecing together obscure clues, referencing a hidden chamber within the former Bennett estate. Now owned by Pierce Tech, late evenings found them sitting together, sipping coffee as they sifted through faded blueprints and journals once forgotten, Damien's thoughtful insights blending seamlessly with Harper's instinctual persistence. Their search finally yielded results on a rainy Seattle afternoon. Buried among dusty records, Harper discovered an old architectural sketch referencing a hidden subterranean vault beneath the estate's original library. A faded, handwritten note scribbled in the margin caught her attention. For family eyes only. Trust is key. Harper's heart quickened with excitement and apprehension, Damien immediately sensing her discovery. "This has to be it," she whispered, eyes wide with anticipation. Damien nodded solemnly, clasping her hand reassuringly. They wasted no time, arriving at the estate early the next morning under the guise of routine inspections, their hearts pounding with uncertainty and curiosity. Inside the expansive, long-abandoned library, Harper carefully examined ancient wooden shelves, fingers tracing intricate carvings etched subtly into their edges. Suddenly, her fingertips brushed across a concealed latch, its outline cleverly hidden amid decorative designs. Her breath caught sharply. With a gentle press, the latch released, revealing a secret passageway, opening silently behind the heavy bookcase. Exchanging tense, excited glances, Damien and Harper cautiously descended narrow stone steps, illuminated only by flickering flashlights. The air grew colder and heavier, the passage finally widening into an imposing iron door engraved with the Bennett family crest, matching Harper's necklace, precisely. Taking a deep breath, Harper approached carefully, tracing the delicate engravings. To her astonishment, the silver necklace at her throat suddenly glowed faintly, responding silently to its matching insignia. Damien watched closely, eyes wide with amazement, as the door creaked open slowly, triggered by the necklace's unique resonance. Inside, the vault stretched out before them. An opulent room filled not with gold or jewels, but with carefully preserved documents, tapestries, and paintings chronicling the family's lost history. Harper's eyes welled with emotion as she absorbed the significance of what surrounded her. Letters, journals, legal documents detailing generations of achievements, struggles, and resilience. This wasn't simply hidden wealth. It was the soul and story of the Bennett family, carefully preserved and guarded. Damien gently placed an arm around Harper, sharing her awe and reverence for the powerful legacy before them. Together, they explored each precious artifact, piecing together stories of generations who'd fought fiercely to preserve their family's honor and dignity amid betrayal and tragedy. Yet one document caught Harper's attention most, a sealed letter addressed directly to her, marked clearly in elegant handwriting. For Harper Bennett, should you find your way home. With trembling fingers, she broke the seal and carefully unfolded the letter, eyes widening as she read words penned decades earlier by her own mother. My dearest Harper, if you're reading this, then you finally reclaimed the truth of your birthright. Our family legacy is not simply one of wealth or power. It's strength, courage, and integrity passed down through generations. Lydia Pierce betrayed us out of fear and greed, but you must never lose sight of compassion and forgiveness. Let your strength guide you, your heart anchor you, and never forget, you are loved, always. Tears slipped silently down Harper's cheeks as she absorbed her mother's heartfelt message, Damien gently holding her close. They stood together quietly in that sacred space, acknowledging the profound responsibility entrusted to them by Harper's ancestors. As they emerged later, sunlight filtering softly through the estate's windows, Harper felt profoundly changed. The vault had not just provided closure, it had instilled deeper purpose, grounding her firmly within a powerful legacy. Damien squeezed her hand warmly, understanding intuitively the depth of what Harper now carried. "We'll honor their memory together," Damien promised sincerely, eyes shining with unwavering devotion. Harper nodded gratefully, heart swelling with determination and peace. From that moment onward, Harper understood her journey was not simply about reclaiming stolen identity or power. It was about becoming the guardian of a legacy forged in resilience, integrity, and love. With Damien firmly by her side, she embraced the future wholeheartedly, prepared to face any remaining shadows with newfound confidence and clarity, guided always by the enduring strength of family and the healing power of true love. In the weeks following their powerful discovery within the Bennett vault, Harper and Damien carefully navigated the delicate balance of honoring her family's legacy while reshaping their intertwined futures. As the press attention slowly faded, a newfound sense of normalcy settled gently around them, allowing space for genuine healing and growth. Though Lydia's sentencing and Nathan's swift departure left lingering shadows, Harper felt increasingly anchored by the clarity her mother's heartfelt letter provided. A profound reminder that true strength arose from compassion, resilience, and forgiveness. The work of rebuilding Bennett Industries became Harper's daily passion, an endeavor she pursued alongside Damien with determination and integrity. Together, they implemented strategies grounded firmly in ethics and transparency, gradually restoring public trust and confidence in the once tarnished Bennett name. Long hours spent reviewing proposals, negotiating partnerships, and making critical decisions solidified their bond even further, their connection deepening beyond romantic affection into genuine partnership and shared purpose. Margaret Pierce proved invaluable during this period, warmly mentoring Harper through challenging business decisions while affectionately guiding her toward embracing the complexities of a new family dynamic. Harper grew particularly fond of their weekly dinners at Margaret's estate, where laughter echoed warmly amid tales of family history, playful teasing, and gentle wisdom. Margaret's approval and acceptance filled a quiet void Harper hadn't realized existed, allowing her heart to heal deeply from decades of uncertainty and loss. As wedding preparations progressed, Harper found comfort in the small joys of planning. Selecting flowers, music, and invitations became quiet rituals she cherished deeply. Damien participated enthusiastically, offering thoughtful input while affectionately teasing Harper for her newfound attention to detail. Amid their playful debates over guest lists and menus, they often paused simply to savor their evolving relationship. A partnership forged through shared adversity, mutual trust, and unbreakable devotion. Yet, amid tranquility and happiness, Harper sometimes caught Damien staring quietly into the distance, contemplative and slightly troubled. One rainy evening, curled together on his penthouse balcony beneath a soft blanket, Harper gently confronted him, her voice tender but curious. "Damien, what's been on your mind lately?" she asked softly, fingertips lightly tracing comforting circles across his palm. He sighed deeply, turning toward her, eyes thoughtful yet deeply vulnerable. "Harper, I still struggle with guilt," he admitted quietly. "My family hurt you terribly, told your childhood, your legacy. Sometimes it feels as if I carry their sins, too." Harper gently cupped his face, meeting his troubled gaze earnestly. "Damien, you've given me strength and support, stood firmly by my side through everything. You don't carry their actions, only your own, and you've shown me nothing but love, honesty, and compassion." He exhaled shakily, visibly moved by her sincerity, wrapping his arms tenderly around her. "You're my anchor, Harper," he whispered gratefully. "With you, I finally feel whole again." Their embrace lingered, a quiet promise exchanged between two souls profoundly connected through shared struggles and triumphs. From that moment onward, Damien's internal burden visibly lessened, replaced gradually by a renewed sense of purpose and clarity, fueled largely by Harper's unwavering love and acceptance. Meanwhile, subtle concerns continued tugging at Harper's consciousness, regarding Elena Hart's cryptic warnings about deeper powers locked within the Bennett vault. Though they had found family histories and personal letters, Harper sensed there was still more hidden beneath the surface, a force or knowledge subtly hinted at but not yet revealed. Occasionally, she found herself tracing the delicate engravings of her necklace, thoughtfully, contemplating their meaning, feeling a quiet yet insistent pull toward further exploration. One evening, after sharing these lingering uncertainties with Damien, he smiled knowingly, gently squeezing her hand. "Maybe the vault holds more than one secret," he suggested softly, eyes twinkling with gentle encouragement. "But when you're ready, we'll uncover it, together." Harper's heart swelled gratefully, feeling deeply supported and understood. Their mutual trust offered courage to face whatever lay ahead, whether hidden knowledge, unexpected dangers, or simply the complexities of balancing two powerful legacies with honesty and humility. As their wedding day approached, Harper found increasing comfort in the stability she and Damien had forged together. A foundation built firmly upon trust, respect, and unconditional support. Though uncertainties lingered quietly in the background, she felt secure knowing they faced each new challenge as true partners, capable of weathering any storm. Late one evening, standing alone before the vast windows overlooking Seattle's glittering skyline, Harper allowed herself to reflect quietly upon the incredible journey she'd undertaken. From a forgotten yoga instructor hiding quietly within her own life, she'd grown into a confident businesswoman, a recognized heir reclaiming lost heritage, and soon, Damien's wife, a future partner, mother, and guardian of two intertwined legacies. Feeling Damien's comforting presence behind her, she leaned gratefully into his embrace, silently sharing the beauty of the moment. Though their path had been shadowed by pain, betrayal, and challenges, it had ultimately brought them profoundly closer, uniting them firmly beneath shared purpose, mutual respect, and enduring love. Harper knew with certainty she stood exactly where she belonged, beside the man she loved deeply, prepared to embrace a future filled with limitless possibilities, firmly rooted in a legacy of courage, resilience, and hope. On a crisp autumn morning, sunlight poured warmly through the expansive windows of Damien's penthouse, illuminating every corner with gentle gold. Harper stood before the mirror, gently smoothing the delicate fabric of her wedding gown, heart racing softly with anticipation. Today marked the culmination of a journey that had transformed her life profoundly. Once hidden in the shadows, she was now stepping proudly into a future brimming with promise and partnership. Margaret Pierce appeared quietly beside her, eyes glistening with emotion as she tenderly adjusted Harper's delicate veil. "You look radiant, my dear," Margaret whispered affectionately, voice trembling slightly with joy. "Damien is truly blessed to share his life with you." Harper's eyes filled with warmth and gratitude, deeply moved by Margaret's sincerity. "Thank you," she whispered softly, gently clasping the older woman's hands. "Your love and support mean more to me than you'll ever know." Meanwhile, Damien paced anxiously in a nearby room, adjusting his tie repeatedly, nerves and excitement intertwining rapidly within him. Memories of their first unexpected meeting at the gala flooded vividly back, blending seamlessly with more recent scenes. Their discoveries in the Bennett vault, quiet evenings spent strategizing together, whispered promises exchanged under moonlit skies. His heart swelled profoundly, grateful beyond words for the woman who had irrevocably changed his life. The ceremony unfolded beautifully beneath the graceful arches of a historic Seattle chapel, bathed warmly in late afternoon sunlight filtering gently through stained glass windows. Harper and Damien exchanged heartfelt vows amid family, friends, and trusted colleagues, their promises echoing clearly through the sacred space. Promises built firmly upon trust, mutual respect, and unconditional devotion. As they exchanged rings, Damien's gaze lingered affectionately on Harper's necklace, the engraved pendant gleaming softly in golden rays. A subtle warmth seemed to radiate gently from its intricate surface, resonating quietly with profound meaning, a symbolic reminder of Harper's powerful legacy and the hidden secrets still awaiting discovery. Their eyes met knowingly, silently acknowledging the mysterious bond connecting past, present, and future. After joyful celebrations subsided and guests gradually departed, Harper found herself quietly reflecting once more upon Elena Hart's enigmatic warning regarding the Bennett vault. The psychic's words, "a power beyond wealth," continued tugging gently at her consciousness, suggesting deeper truths still lying undiscovered. Late that evening, sitting comfortably together beneath a velvety Seattle sky illuminated by stars, Damien sensed Harper's thoughtful silence. He took her hand gently, offering quiet reassurance. "Something's still on your mind," he murmured softly. "Tell me." Harper hesitated briefly, exhaling slowly. "I keep thinking about Elena's warning, about power hidden within the vault, something beyond mere wealth. There's more we haven't uncovered, Damien." Damien squeezed her hand reassuringly, nodding thoughtfully. "Then, let's face it together, Harper," he promised sincerely. "Whatever waits for us in that vault, we'll confront it side by side." Empowered by Damien's steadfast support, Harper returned determinedly to the Bennett estate several days later, their footsteps echoing gently as they descended once again into the hidden chamber beneath the library. The vault's atmosphere felt subtly different this time, charged quietly with expectation, inviting deeper exploration. Carefully examining the engraved walls surrounding them, Harper noticed subtle inscriptions she'd previously overlooked. Cryptic symbols, elegantly carved, arranged around the Bennett family crest. Reaching instinctively toward them, she pressed her fingertips gently against their surface. A sudden, quiet rumble resonated softly through the chamber, startling both Damien and Harper momentarily. An inner compartment previously concealed within the stone wall slowly opened, revealing a small, beautifully crafted box resting gently atop velvet lining. Harper carefully lifted the box, heart pounding softly with anticipation, and opened it slowly. Inside rested an elegant golden key, alongside an aged parchment inscribed with graceful handwriting, another note clearly intended directly for her. "My beloved Harper," it read gently, voice resonating quietly across decades. "This key unlocks our family's deepest secret, a hidden truth entrusted solely to Bennett heirs. Beneath our ancestral home lies another vault, holding knowledge capable of reshaping entire industries. Use its power wisely, guided always by compassion, integrity, and humility." Harper's breath caught softly, her pulse quickening rapidly as she absorbed the magnitude of what lay before her. Damien gently touched her shoulder reassuringly, his presence offering steady comfort amid newfound uncertainty. Together, they returned quietly upstairs, their minds swirling with possibilities and questions. What further secrets did the Bennett legacy hold? How would they wisely harness whatever awaited discovery beneath the estate, balancing newfound knowledge responsibly alongside ethical stewardship? Later, as they stood silently beneath evening skies painted vibrantly with rich shades of crimson and gold, Harper finally voiced her growing realization. "Damien, everything we've faced, betrayal, loss, discovery, has prepared us for whatever lies ahead. We have a responsibility not merely to reclaim the Bennett legacy, but also to use its power wisely, to create meaningful, lasting change." Damien smiled warmly, eyes shining affectionately with admiration and respect. "Then we'll honor that responsibility. Together." Their quiet promise resonated softly through the gentle twilight air, reaffirming the bond they'd forged through shared adversity, mutual trust, and enduring love. Harper felt deeply empowered. no longer merely reclaiming lost identity, but actively shaping a meaningful future built firmly upon lessons learned and values deeply held. As they stood quietly beneath expansive Seattle skies, Harper understood profoundly the truth Elena Hart had hinted at all along. The Bennett family's greatest wealth wasn't merely material riches. It was legacy defined by courage, integrity, and compassion passed carefully across generations, now entrusted with both knowledge and responsibility. Harper embraced confidently whatever awaited discovery ahead, firmly anchored by Damien's steadfast love, mutual trust, and shared purpose. Harper and Damien stood side by side beneath the clear Seattle sky, their reflections shimmering softly against the still waters of Puget Sound. A gentle breeze carried with it the fresh scent of salt and pine, whispering quietly of new beginnings. After months of uncertainty, betrayal, discovery, and redemption, they finally felt an abiding sense of peace, a profound clarity that strengthened their resolve to move forward together, facing whatever awaited them with courage, compassion, and unwavering trust. In the days following their discovery of the second Bennett vault, Harper and Damien diligently prepared to unlock its secrets. Fully aware of the immense responsibility they carried, they spent countless evenings poring over historical documents and family journals, piecing together fragmented clues, hinting at the vault's true purpose. Each step forward deepened their bond, transforming their partnership into something far stronger than mere love. It became an unbreakable union, anchored by shared purpose and mutual respect. Finally, on a serene autumn afternoon, Harper held the ornate golden key firmly in her hand, standing once more at the threshold of the hidden chamber beneath the Bennett estate. Damien offered her a steady, reassuring glance, silently communicating his unwavering support. Together, they descended carefully down the stone steps, their anticipation heightening with each quiet echo beneath their feet. As Harper placed the key gently into an intricately carved lock hidden within the ancient stone wall, a sense of quiet reverence filled the air. With a gentle turn, the lock clicked softly, and the heavy stone doorway slowly opened, revealing a hidden room bathed in soft golden light. Harper's breath caught gently as they stepped carefully inside, their eyes widening in awe. The chamber held no jewels or tangible riches. Instead, rows of polished shelves held countless leather-bound volumes, ancient manuscripts, maps, and diagrams meticulously preserved through generations. At the center of the room stood a marble pedestal, upon which rested an elegantly crafted ledger, the true heart of the Bennett legacy. Harper approached reverently, opening the ledger slowly, its pages crackling softly beneath her fingers. Within lay meticulous entries chronicling groundbreaking inventions, formulas, and technological discoveries, once carefully hidden to protect them from misuse or exploitation. The true wealth, hidden by her ancestors, was knowledge. Remarkable innovations with potential to reshape industries, heal environmental wounds, and revolutionize lives positively across generations. Overwhelmed, Harper turned slowly toward Damien, realization dawning profoundly within them both. "This is the true power Elena spoke of," Harper whispered softly. "Not wealth, but knowledge. Wisdom entrusted to our stewardship." Damien nodded quietly, eyes wide with reverence. "We must honor this trust wisely," he affirmed gently, understanding the profound responsibility resting upon their shoulders. This could change the future. In the weeks that followed, Harper and Damien approached their newfound knowledge with measured humility, assembling a trusted team of researchers and scholars to ensure these powerful secrets were handled ethically and compassionately. They established a foundation in the Bennett family name, carefully curating projects focused on sustainable innovation, clean energy, medical breakthroughs, and global education initiatives. Gradually, the Bennett legacy became synonymous with integrity, progress, and positive transformation, a beacon of hope and responsible stewardship. Margaret Pierce proudly watched their work unfold, deeply moved by the legacy Harper and Damien were creating together. "Your ancestors would be proud," she told Harper sincerely one evening, gently clasping her granddaughter-in-law's hand. "You've become the guardian of a legacy greater than wealth, the embodiment of what our family always aspired to become." As their impact grew, Harper and Damien continued cherishing quiet moments together, prioritizing their bond above all else. One tranquil evening, seated comfortably beside a roaring fireplace, Damien gently brushed Harper's hair aside, gazing affectionately into her eyes. "Through everything we faced, every challenge, betrayal, triumph, I've never loved or admired you more deeply," he murmured earnestly, voice tender with sincerity. Harper smiled warmly, heart swelling profoundly. "And I've never trusted anyone more completely," she whispered softly in reply. "We're stronger together, Damien, no matter what the future holds." Outside, stars glittered softly across velvet skies, silently illuminating the profound truth of Harper's words. Their story had never simply been about reclaiming lost identities or facing powerful adversaries. It had always been a journey of discovering hidden strengths, and honoring timeless values deeply ingrained within their hearts. Together, Harper and Damien had transformed chaos into purpose, uncertainty into clarity, betrayal into forgiveness, and loss into profound gain. They'd proven love's resilience, compassion's enduring strength, and trust's transformative power, emerging not merely as lovers or partners, but true soulmates profoundly bound by shared purpose, mutual respect, and enduring devotion. Now, standing confidently at the intersection of past, present, and future, Harper felt no fear, only anticipation, gratitude, and deep fulfillment. Hand in hand, they stepped forward boldly, embracing every new challenge as an opportunity for growth, every uncertainty as a promise of adventure, and every setback as a chance to learn and evolve. Together, they embodied the true Bennett legacy: not wealth, power, or influence, but integrity, courage, humility, and compassion. Their journey had begun with secrets and uncertainty, yet ultimately revealed deeper truths about resilience, love, and humanity's boundless potential for redemption and renewal. Harper Bennett and Damien Pierce stood united beneath expansive Seattle skies, hearts intertwined profoundly through shared experiences, mutual trust, and unconditional love, ready, willing, and eager to embrace whatever adventure life might hold next, forever anchored by the timeless legacy entrusted lovingly into their care. At its core, the story of Harper and Damien reminds us that our greatest strength lies not in wealth or status, but in resilience, integrity, and the courage to face our past. Life may lead us into storms of uncertainty, betrayal, or hardship, but those very trials can forge our trust selves. Harper discovered that, hidden within her deepest pain, was an extraordinary legacy, one built on compassion, humility, and the wisdom of generations past. Damien learned the profound lesson that true power stems not from control or privilege, but from honesty, loyalty, and love. Their journey also illustrates how secrets and deception only delay the inevitable truth. It was Harper and Damien's willingness to confront uncomfortable realities head-on, openly and bravely, that brought healing and clarity, not just to themselves, but to those around them. Trust, they learned, is both fragile and powerful. Carefully nurtured, it can mend even the deepest wounds and bind hearts together more profoundly than any shared wealth ever could. Ultimately, their story teaches us about forgiveness. Even when faced with bitter betrayal, Harper chose compassion over revenge. By doing so, she reclaimed her power, not as a victim, but as a woman who understood deeply that forgiveness doesn't excuse wrongs committed, but frees us to move forward unburdened. This tale is a powerful reminder that the richest legacies we leave behind aren't measured in dollars or titles, but in how deeply we've loved, how honestly we've lived, and how courageously we've faced the truth. Harper and Damien's journey invites us to reflect. Perhaps our own hidden legacy awaits, if only we have the courage to uncover it. So, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from, and what lessons touched you most deeply in Harper and Damien's story? If you enjoyed this journey and want more heartfelt adventures, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.